We are live and we have more news. Switch to hype.
Oh, we have our camera! Reggie Pizza Man!
Obi-Wan plays.
Yes, right. What's up? All right.
Obi-Wan plays.
Purchase your tracks today.
What is going on, everybody?
Likes live.
How are y'all doing? We are live. Let me ban. Watch this. Hey, watch Broken being the surprise of his life. How do I remove a standard mod? Fake news, man, Broken. Where's your mod power now?
Not that the slide.
I give it back next stream, Broken. All right, what's up, everybody coming into the chat?
Make sure to like the
Okay,
slide.
all right, bro. Okay, all right, we are live. We have some dope news. Now let me put it back. All right, we bet you back as a mod, bro. But I'm gonna just let you know what we can do. What's up, everybody coming into the chat? Give the stream a thumbs up. We have a lot of news to go over in one epic stream. Give it a thumbs up. Let's get this thing started. We are also, you have the power. Better be great news, Dane. The news is straight fire on Mario. What was this thing called? Lakito's Boots? Latiku's Boots, something like that. Originally from Mario 3 on the NES. Yeah. We know our Nintendo stuff. Let's go, bro. All right. We got some fire news. We are already at 10 likes. 10 more people give this stream a thumbs up. Let's double it to 20 likes. Did I mention we're giving away a Switch 2 console? I wasn't sure if I did. Honestly, I don't remember. We will be giving away a Switch 2 console to a lucky subscriber. And if you want to join a dope Nintendo Switch gaming community, links in the description on how you become a member of the OGC. You get on my Switch friend list, game with your boy. We just have a great time. Are y'all getting snow in Florida on Tuesday? We better not. I'm too far down south, so I don't got to worry about that. All right. Let's get this thing started. We have plenty to go over in one epic stream. You want to start with the UI first? Why not? Let's do that first. Yeah. All right. The Nintendo Switch UI has apparently leaked. Now, again, y'all already know why we have to talk about the leaks. Because of everything that was leaked ended up being actually true. And everything that was leaked ended up being actually true. Hey, hold on one second. Everything in the leaks were actually true. And we have, where's my DJ Khaled? I know y'all be like, man, he dragging this out. We have another one. All right. This is supposedly the leaked Switch 2 UI user interface. This is from Reddit. And they're saying this is from an internal dev kit. Take from it what you want. See, and I don't know if this is a mock-up based on the information they were given. Like, they didn't see it, but they were describing it. All right, when you hover over the game, something is going to appear in the background. These are the dimensions of the icons. This is what's in the upper left. This is what's going to be in the center. This is what's going to be on the right, and so forth. And then they recreated what they were given. So this is supposedly the leaked Nintendo Switch 2 UI. We got to talk about it. We got to cover it. What are your thoughts? I like it. I like it. You see the icon, you see them on Metroid Beyond, and then they have in the background Samus in the background. I think that's dope. Couple of tidbits. You can see the clock, upper left corner in the middle, something that says games. Oh, will the eShop be integrated somehow in the on the home screen? That's what PlayStation does with the PS5. Like from the home screen, you scroll over to a PlayStation store, and you're not loaded into a whole different area like we currently on the Switch. It's somehow integrated. The PlayStation store loads up right directly onto the user interface. So it seems like you have games in one tab. In the middle, you have Nintendo eShop. And then the eShop probably just opens up. And then to the right, you have apps. Now, that tab that says apps, I'm hoping that's the new, because you have the NSO apps like NES, Super Nintendo. Like this, I'm hope that apps like that, they should be in their own category. The Nintendo Switch Online apps. You have Nintendo Music, which I still have not touched. Nintendo Music. What else? And just different apps that could be regulated. There's YouTube on the Switch, which they shouldn't have video apps on the Switch because it just encourages people to watch videos instead. Even though dudes be watching me on their Switch on the YouTube app, so maybe you do need to keep it Nintendo. But I like that. In the lower left corner, it has circles around the Joy-Cons, letting you know how charged each Joy-Con is. That's a cool touch. Then you have options, X to close software, A to continue. So this is supposedly a leaked user interface from an internal dev kit. Take from it what you want. But nah, bro, YouTube on Switch is neat. To each their own. GWX, I don't use it because I have my phone. I use YouTube on my phone. But to each their own. I thought this was pretty dope. Switch to user interface. And this is what I'm saying pertaining to this user interface. The fact that we're going from a 4 gigabyte RAM system to a 12 gigabyte RAM system. And Nintendo, I was reading or I heard something today where it was not even 1 gigabyte of RAM was used for the Switch's user interface. It was like a small amount. So if Nintendo just uses at least 1 gigabyte of RAM just for the user interface, it's going to be a world of difference compared to what we're currently using on the Switch. So I think that's one area I think Nintendo should invest in. Just give us a fresh gaming experience when we load up our system. And to Nintendo's credit, every generation we've had different user interfaces. I personally think going from the Wii U to the Switch, the user interface actually went backwards instead of forward. I prefer the user interface on the Wii U. I told y'all, it was something about turning on the Wii U, having your Mii run down, and then have all the other Miis run down together. I thought that was pretty dope, man. And I get it, Nintendo was, but one thing with the Wii U, it took forever to load or whatnot, and that was due to the CPU and the hardware of the Wii U. Nintendo wanted to make sure that we just get into our games quick as soon as possible on the Switch. But with the Switch 2 being a much more powerful system, I think we can have the best of both worlds. Animations, themes, all that fun stuff, and speedy times. So here's to Nintendo improving that user interface. What's up? My dude says Miiverse is coming back. It's called Community. I hope so, but instead of community with a Y at the end, have community with 2 I's at the end. Boom, mind blown. I'm a genius. Make it happen, Nintendo. All right, we are at 37 likes, 13 people. Give the stream a thumbs up. Let's crush 50 likes right now. Let's go, bro. We got some more news. All right. Before we get, now let's do this one. This is coming from WCCFtech.com, talking about, well, I'll just read the title. Nintendo Switch 2 leaked clock speeds further suggests an 8 nanometer chip. Reveal trailer has no obvious evidence that DLSS or any Ampere features were being used. Now, we do know that the Switch 2 will be a DLSS machine. Nintendo's official patents have shown it. The architecture, all signs point to it. But what this article is saying, that in the actual trailer of Mario Kart, there doesn't seem to be any evidence of that being used right there. And I personally think DLSS will more so be used by third-party developers. We'll still have some first-party games utilize it as well. Nintendo's gonna make the most of the system. But this is the article from WCCFtech.com. Nintendo Switch 2 leak clock speeds further suggests an 8 nanometer chip. And I have to say this, I just saw something today that was hinting to still the possibility of a 5 nanometer chip. I think even if it's an 8 nanometer chip, it's still going to be a very, very capable system. Bucks, what's up, bro? I see you in the chat. A lot of people were upset when Digital Foundry and everyone when the motherboard got leaked, that it was strongly hinting to an 8 nanometer chip. Everybody like, oh no, blah, 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 blah. We're still good, bro. All right. The article says the Nintendo Switch 2 leaked clock speeds, which look rather legitimate, further suggests how the system is powered by an 8 nanometer chip, according to a new analysis. Let's get OLED screen? Nah, Mike, I don't think so. Now, Nintendo could very well have an OLED screen at launch, but knowing Nintendo's history, I really think it's going to be an LCD screen, and OLED will be like a Switch 2 OLED edition. All right. The tech experts at Digital Foundry, so this is based off of Digital Foundry, took a good look at the leaked clock speeds of the new system, highlighting how they look reasonable enough for the type of system that Nintendo Switch 2 will be, although with some caveats, such as the handheld GPU clock speed looking a little low for the type of cooling the system has, and the CPU clock speed, which are not particularly low for an 8 nanometer CPU supporting 8 Cortex A78 cores, being higher in portable mode than docked. The latter is particularly interesting, as it suggests there's still something we do not know about how the system works in this case, as it might disable cores in portable modes to save battery, or could have different CPU frequencies in dock mode. Still, everything considered, these clock speeds are definitely in line with an 8 nanometer chip, with what an 8 nanometer chip can achieve, further suggesting that this is the process node used for the T239 chip that powers the system. Speaking about the specs, one point of concern could be the low memory bandwidth in portable mode, especially if the system uses a rumored 1080p screen. The reveal trailer unfortunately did not specify if the screen sports higher resolution than the one of the original screen. Yeah, I just found it interesting that Nintendo just enlarged the screen. Madame Brestrella just subscribed. You got in the running for a Switch 2 console giveaway. The crowd goes wild. All right. They just showed, boop, a larger screen. But again, it wouldn't make sense for Nintendo to give us a larger screen at the same resolution, because then the images would be worse in handheld mode on the Switch 2. So I'm still betting for a larger, I don't know what the resolution would be, but a larger resolution screen. All right. What the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal trailer also failed to show is how the system will take advantage of the T239's Ampere architecture. The short Mario Kart footage was not at a very high resolution, and it looked aliased as the vast majority of Nintendo games, and and in no part it showed evidence of using NVIDIA DLSS or any advanced feature that the architecture can deliver. Speaking about NVIDIA DLSS, Digital Foundry rightly highlights during the podcast how the Nintendo Switch 2 could be able to use the new transformer model, but its viability remains a question. Considering the new model is computationally heavier than the current CNN model and wasn't developed for a mobile system that's essentially a few generations older at this point, considering the recent patent essentially details a lightweight DLSS for the Switch 2, we are unlikely to see the same identical desktop transformer model running on the system due to computational limitations. All right. And the Switch 2 launches later this year. So they were pretty much saying that it looks like the Switch 2 will be running on an 8 nanometer chip, and that the Mario Kart footage that we saw wasn't really taking advantage of any advanced features that the system should have. So I just thought that was interesting. And we just got a brief footage of Mario Kart. And I said it when I first saw it, Mario Kart, I had to take a double look because was they showing? I didn't see like a huge difference from Switch 2 Mario Kart to Mario Kart from the Mario Kart we were previously playing until I went back and I kept looking at it. I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. First of all, 24 karts on the track at once. That's gonna be crazy. That's where, and the debate was, will Mario Kart be a cross-gen game? Part of me, I'm still leaning towards it probably won't be, just because if they're going to have 8 karts on the track, that seems like that's going to utilize a lot more RAM and may not be possible on the current Switch. Who knows? Nintendo are development wizards. I'm hoping that it's still not cross-gen because I don't want any features to be held back by the current Switch hardware. So time will tell, but I thought that was interesting. Bro, we have to talk about this. A lot of people have been worried about the cartridge on the side of the Switch somehow breaking. I've heard people talking about it. Let me go to where they would show right there. Right there. You see right here? This cartridge that connects the Joy-Con magnetically. People are saying that doesn't look too sturdy. Oh, it's gonna break. It's gonna break by wear and tear or usage. Shout out to Beat 'em Ups. They posted a video on Twitter that showed how it's gonna be pretty much impossible for that cartridge to break by sort of twisting the Joy-Cons on the side. That it's going to be possible. And they were pretty much showing in the video how, due to
this tweet that I just quote tweeted.
All right, let me put it on mute. Due to the borders around the car, both the borders around the system and the protrusions of the actual Joy-Con, that it's going to fit so snugly, it's going to be very difficult for that cartridge to break. Even if the Switch drops the protection, the lining around the cartridge protects it. So he's saying that that's just people, just their first glance looking at it protruding out, that, oh, it looks breakable. But if you actually have a 3D model and you see the Nintendo's engineering and their thought process in creating it in that fashion, that it's going to be very difficult for that cartridge to break. Now, you do have kids, and kids are curious. Kids could get a plier and clamp the cartridge and twist it with a plier. Of course, it's going to break. All right, you could break anything if you really wanted to, but by just normal wear and use, by normal just daily attaching, detaching, you really don't have to worry about breaking the cartridge. And that's based on the information that he was showing in that video, and I sort of agreed with everything he said. I don't think we have to worry about it. Nintendo knows how to make, especially handheld portable devices. They've been doing this since 1980 with Game & Watch. And so I have confidence that we're going to be fine. We don't have to worry about it. All right. What's up to everybody coming into the chat? Give the stream a thumbs up. We crushed 53 likes. Give the stream a thumbs up. Let's get it to 70. 70 likes in the building, bro. Let's do it, bro. All right. The next news item we have to talk about on a Saturday. A beautiful Saturday. In Florida, at least, it's beautiful. I don't know about y'all. Spider-Man on Switch 2. Broken, you're a fool, bro. All right. Polygon has come out with an article. And it says, what will the Switch 2 cost? An analysis of Nintendo's pricing strategy. And they're saying history can tell us everything we need to know on the most likely price point of the Switch 2. Broken, you say $700, you're a fool. All right. Nintendo didn't get into much in the way of details during the week's reveal. Yeah, they didn't do anything. And I tell y'all this, even at the Nintendo Direct, we're not going to get a price. My money is that the Nintendo's not going to do a price. When are we going to get a price? No, we might get a price at the Nintendo Direct at the very end. The price is one of the last things companies reveal after they get us hyped for the system. Because even when we get bummed with, that price, we're still going to think back and be like, oh, but look at all the dope games it's going to have. Look at all the online features, the new game. So they do the price last on purpose. And there are a few details around the console's launch as important as the price. The omission, of course, has everyone, ourselves including, wondering how the big end is going to play its hand this time. Video game consoles aren't like traditional commodity consumer electronic launches. Each time a company like Nintendo launches a new console, it's doing so in an entirely different environment. Everything from macroeconomic conditions, high inflation, to the demographics and total addressable market for their products, to massive swings in gaming habits like Fortnite can shift from one console generation to another. I mention all of this to be clear. Historical context can only provide so much guidance. With that being said, let's dig in. Let's go. Paid, what's up, my guy? Kiki, what's up? I see you in the chat. I see y'all. Here's your chart. Whoa, this is crazy. We got to put this up. I got to show y'all this. A chart of Nintendo console releases in the US organized chronologically with the original launch price and the price adjusted for inflation using the US government's consumer price index. Bro, let's check out. This is some heavy stuff. Polygon? I didn't know y'all will break it down like this. We're going to go full screen for this, bro. So we can get an idea of what this price is going to be. And this does give us a good idea of what the price is going to be. All right. Full screen. Check this out, bro. Hold on. Let's make this a little bigger. All right. These are the prices of every Nintendo home console. And they have the adjusted price for inflation. The NES, when it launched back in 1985, it launched at $180. But in today's market, that would have been $520. Bro, that's expensive. But you got to think, the NES, when it came out, was a super powerful console. I mean, we went from Atari pixelated all black backgrounds to multi-layered scrolling backgrounds, adventure games. And so it was a huge jump in graphical power. The NES, when it came out in the US, was it to that TurboGrafx 16, but nobody bought the TurboGrafx 16. But the Super Nintendo launched at $200, but if we adjust it to today's market price, it was the same as $460. So y'all see this? Y'all see where we're going? Nintendo has priced their consoles a little bit more expensive than we thought. We keep saying 400, but all right. Nintendo 64, shout out to one of the most important console. It is. We could debate which was the most goated console, but the most important console ever launched was a Nintendo 64. Changed gaming forever, bro. All right. To buy me an NES. Facts, bro. I remember my dad getting me an NES, bro. I went crazy, bro. That power pad, a Mario Kart Duck Hunt track and field combination. That's what we had, boy. We was lit. All right, we're at 64 likes. 16 people give the stream a thumbs up. Let's crush 80 likes right now. All right, the goated, not the goated, but the most important console, Super Nintendo, still goated for me. The Nintendo 64 launched at $200. I remember them cutting that price because of PlayStation. $200, which would have been $400 in today's market. Now, from the Nintendo 64 on, notice to what the price point with the inflated adjusted price point. First, GameCube, $200, $354 adjusted. Wii, $250, $390 adjusted. Wii U, $299, $409 adjusted. The Nintendo Switch, $299, which today's price adjusted would be $387. So if we just go based on the adjusted market price for today, ever since the Nintendo 64, Nintendo's hovered around $400. Give or take, it's been $400 in a 2025 economic market. So in 2025, if Nintendo is going to price the Switch, it looks like it's going to be around $400 based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Their last 5 consoles were around $400 based on the 2025 US market. So launching a system in 2025 is probably going to be $400. So my money is on $399 for the Switch 2. Again, I think this chart gave us a great look at Nintendo's price history. You can't focus on the original price. We're in 2025. So all of the column that says inflation adjusted price, those are all the prices based on the 2025 market. So based on the 2025 market, Nintendo's historically, or really recently, based on the last 5 consoles, NES and Super Nintendo were expensive. But based on their last 5 consoles, they've hovered a little either above or below $400. So my money is the Switch 2 more than likely is going to be $400. So ladies and gentlemen, be prepared to spend around $400 for a Switch 2 console. So I thought this article was interesting, and the insight it gives us on what Nintendo more than likely will be pricing the Switch 2 at. All right. Bro, this next news item is pretty dope, and well deserved. The Nintendo Switch 2 reveal trailer has passed 100 million views online. Now, this adds up on all social, the trailer on every social media platform, on Nintendo for America US, Nintendo UK, and they had different other places where they added up the totals of the trailer everywhere where Nintendo had it listed. Right now, just the Nintendo of America trailer is already over 18 million. And so globally, on all platforms, the Switch 2 reveal trailer has already crossed 100 million views online. This system is going to take off. I want to see the more details on it. This is coming from the outerhaven.net. One of the things that many people are focused on right now with the Nintendo Switch 2, how much it'll sell both its first year and its lifetime. That's going to be big. I think it's going to pass 100 million lifetime easily. Whether or not it's going to go Switch levels, who knows? But if a console passes 70, 80 million, you had a good console year lifespan. Will it swell as much as the OG Switch? Will Nintendo be able to meet initial demand? How will the big end do with its software lineup to build hype further? While we won't know any of the answers for a time, we can show you how much the reveal trailer has done and how it might affect things going forward. As noted by Insider Stealth on Twitter, the Nintendo of Japan post about the Switch 2 has crossed 46 million views, which is impressive in many ways. One of the biggest reasons that's impressive is that this is about 7 million more than the Nintendo America account, which is just under 39 million. Oh, so this is just, oh yeah. Then when you add in the YouTube video that was also posted, which has over 16.5 million, right now 18 million, you get over 100 million views combined. While it's obvious that many people watch the trailer multiple times over, this is still an impressive milestone and just shows you how much people want to see the Switch 2. And so this lets you know that it's on fire right now. It's trending for a few days on YouTube as the #1 trending video. I don't know if it's still #1, probably not. But regardless, the interest is high. And I'm telling you, people that aren't gamers, they're like messaging people who are gamers like, whoa, what is this? Y'all see that there's a new Nintendo console? And when I hear that, that means Nintendo nailed the trailer. Because that wasn't what they were saying. People who weren't gamers, they were saying, was this a Wii U tablet? Is this an accessory to the Wii U? What is this? But with the Switch 2, it's clear. You have the Switch and you have the 2. The next version of the Switch. We're in the iPhone age where you have iPhone 13, iPhone 14, iPhone 15. And so consumers are just accustomed to a bigger number means it's a bigger and better product. And so Nintendo just calling this the Switch 2 could have been the single most best marketing strategy, their best marketing strategic point. Just simply calling it a 2. For us as gamers, we're like, oh, that's a boring name. It's not the Super Switch. It's not the Switch U. It's not the Ultra Switch 64. But it works. And it's going to help in sales come holiday season and so forth. So I think that's dope. I think that's dope. I think that is DOPE. All right. What we've learned about its next gen potential. Eurogamer. The big boys have broken down the Switch 2, and boy, do they have a lot to say. With Nintendo finally revealing the Switch 2, the Digital Foundry team spent a good hour discussing what we've learned from the 2-minute teaser and equally what is still to be revealed. A lot of interesting tidbits. Shout out to Eurogamer. They're I give them credit, boy. They be on their stuff. The key question I've been thinking about is this. Did we see a proper generational leap from the Mario Kart demo we saw compared to the existing Switch's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? In fact, did we see any hint of the advanced NVIDIA technologies that have commanded so much of the Switch 2 discourse? I'd argue no, says the article. And to a fair point, first look, you didn't see it. Once you saw what was going on, you can see a big jump. All right. What the teaser did do was to confirm the multitude of hardware-based leaks we've seen over the last couple of months. Yes, Switch 2 will be significantly larger than its predecessor. The Joy-Cons do appear to attach magnetically to the main unit. There are strong hints that while the IR facilities from Switch 1 are gone, some kind of sensor allows for its successor to use its controllers like mice. Jury's still out on how the mouse is going to be utilized. All right. Where were we? Right here. Top and bottom USB-C connectors are also confirmed, opening the door to a range of external peripherals that could be mounted at the top of the machine. That's right. Do not think Nintendo engineered a whole new USB-C port at the top of the system just for you to charge the system from both ends. This is where a lot of people are like, where's the Nintendo creativity? Where's the ingenuity? Blah, 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 blah. That port at the top, watch throughout the generation, the different devices and game implementations Nintendo's going to use with that USB-C port at the top. So you just got to be patient, bro. Trust, Nintendo knows what they're doing. All right. As well as the big form factor, ventilation seems to have been improved to handle the heat generated by the T239 processor. And so that ventilation, more powerful system. Backwards compatibility of both physical and digital Switch titles is also confirmed. Presented with caveats suggesting that not all games will work. My gut feeling here is that outside of a few outliers, software compatibility won't be a problem. It's more likely to be games like Switch's unique hardware features that will have issues. Will games naturally run faster on Switch 2 than they do on the older model? I'd suggest that producing entirely accurate emulation of the older console would be more difficult than simply running them flat out by running older games through new hardware. Similar to the way PS5 and Xbox Series back compat functions. All right. For those keeping track of the hardware leaks and general discourse, nothing I've mentioned so far will be new as such, but the reveal of what we can assume to be a new Mario Kart game certainly is. There are clear enhancements here over what we saw in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but with the huge caveat that all we can really discuss is a very short video clip that may or may not be representative of the wider game. There's so many more questions with this Mario Kart game yet to be answered. Even so, the nature of the track itself was interesting. We see wider terrain with a relatively detail-rich shot panning back to show a considerable draw distance. That draw distance you could see out in the distance a lot. So all of that attributes to more RAM in the system, just better gaming, a better gaming quality gaming experience. There's that Mario Kart, which may well hint at a different approach for the game itself. I've seen people talking about, is Mario Kart taking a Forza Horizons approach, where it's more of an open world Mario Kart type racing game? Who knows? We don't know yet because we just got a tease. All right. Character rendering and environments have a similar style to Mario Kart 8, but there are some interesting embellishments. There are changes to the character models, perhaps to more closely align with the movie versions. The drivers and indeed the karts themselves look more expressive, including cartoon-inspired squashing and stretching animations. I liked it when Mario jumped, like the kart stretched and his facial animations changed. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, everything was static. That right there just shows more RAM, like more the developers can actually do to the game. Shout out to everyone. We're at 80 likes. 20 people give the stream a thumbs up. Let's get it to 100 likes, please. Also interesting is the shift to shadow maps. In Mario Kart 8, baked-in shadows combined with sparing use of the shadow maps. But here, all geometry appears to sport real-time shadow mapping, a significant improvement over Switch 1. See, this is Digital Foundry. You're sort of contradicting yourself. You're saying, well, they're probably saying the same thing I'm saying. At first glance, you can't see that big of an improvement. But when you start looking at the details and what Nintendo's done, you see a significant, and I quote from them, a significant improvement over Switch 1. But obviously more demanding on GPU resources. That's where that 8 gigabytes of RAM, 12, put respect on the Switch 2, 12 gigabytes of RAM comes in. Yeah, boing. All right. Is this a generational leap over the existing hardware? It's hard to come away with that impression, to the point where there are good arguments that this new Mario Kart could have been designed as a cross-gen game in the style of Forza Horizon 5. And that's where I was talking about earlier, where they're saying it could be cross-gen. I'm hoping it's not, but good looking on both systems, creating with balance in mind for a good experience across the generation. While Switch 2 possesses ray tracing capabilities, Digital Foundry, they know what they're talking about. Perhaps it's a bit much to ask them to manifest in a 60 frames per second game, but it's surprising to see so few of NVIDIA's technologies in play. That's right, even PlayStation, when Spider-Man, I remember when Spider-Man Miles Morales launched on the PS5, when it launched, it didn't have ray tracing at 60 frames per second. They had to go back, patch it, and do all kinds of things to finally make that happen. So, but I don't really care about ray tracing. All right. For example, they say, DLSS has been lauded as a potential game changer for the new console, and yet there's no evidence whatsoever that it's in place in this new Mario Kart game. In fact, in common with many other Nintendo titles, the nature of the footage suggests there is no anti-aliasing at all, let alone ML-based upscaling. It's all a far cry from last year's reports of Breath of the Wild running at 4K 60 frames per second using DLSS. Now, the leak that I talked about yesterday, how we could be getting a Breath of the Wild remake at the launch of Switch 2 at 2K 60 frames per second, 1440p 60 frames per second in dock mode, which I told y'all, if Nintendo targets that, perfect for me. All right. In short, we really have all we really have is a teaser for a crowd-pleasing game, but hardly a next-generation showcase for Nintendo's new hardware. Not quite relevant to the reveal, but certainly Switch 2 adjacent, was a leak earlier this week of purported clock speeds for the T239 processor in both handheld and dock configurations. Think of this as the next-gen version of our Nintendo Don Clock Tegra X1 specs. The muted specs have concerned some onlookers, but they are broadly in line with what I expected, with a few caveats in place. The table below outlines the basics. Just like the Switch 1 clocks one reported on just over 8 years ago, we get CPU, GPU, and memory clock speeds. When docked, we get the projected 102 gigabytes of memory bandwidth shared between a GPU running at 1007 megahertz and a CPU clocked at a baffling low 998 megahertz. In the power-constrained environment where battery life is king, things change. The GPU drops to 561 megahertz, while memory bandwidth reduces to 68.3 gigabytes. Bizarrely, however, the CPU clock increases in handheld mode. Interesting. I'm wondering if the dock is going to have any kind of CPU components in it, as was rumored. But I doubt, I don't know. Quite why this is the case is not within the leaked documentation, and is certainly enough to cast doubt on the veracity of the report. With that said, the precise nature of the frequencies. Now, I talked about this. When you break everything down based on these specs, we have the Switch 2 in dock mode clocked in at about 3 teraflops, which puts it in the ballpark closer to a PS4 and Xbox Series S. So, and you got that DLSS secret sauce, man. So I just can't wait to see these third-party games running on the Switch. We know the first-party games are going to be good, bro. We're at 93 likes. 7 people give the stream a thumbs up. Let's crush 100 likes. With that said, the precise nature of the frequencies down to the decimal point is certainly reminiscent of the developer documentation that informed our Switch 1 story. Reggie Simmons with $11.11 with the super chat. He says, good to see you out here preaching the facts, bro. Get that hype hat ready. Thanks, Reggie. Somebody type Reggie in the chat. Thanks, Reggie. Somebody type Reggie in the chat, bro. Appreciate it, my guy. Switch 2 is gonna be fire, bro. Can't wait. Make sure y'all get y'all pre-orders in. Halftime, type Reggie. Kiki, type Reggie. Let's go. C-Dog, Mike, everyone showing Reggie some love. Appreciate the $11 super chat, my guy. All right. While the numbers of GPU and memory clocks are certainly plausible, bearing in mind the scant information pieced together about the T239 processor, just like its predecessor, the clocks are lower than expected, but entirely in line with some of the limitations put on by a chip that's isn't fabricated on a modern processing node. All right. Why would handheld mode require higher clock speeds than docked? That's completely unknown at this time. But weirdly, this actually adds to the idea that the information be on the level. Why create eminently plausible and believable data for the GPU and memory and then fumble the ball with obviously wrong CPU frequencies? You have to balance that idea up against the notion that Nintendo has some reason for doing what it's doing with the CPU clocks. Alternatively, of course, the leak may simply be incorrect. As for what this new information actually means, let's factor out the CPU for the moment and look at the GPU. That's them graphics, boy. A while back, I put together a video based on everything we know about the T239 chip in Switch 2. I attempted to stimulate the GPU by using a downclock RTX 2050 laptop processor based on the same NVIDIA Ampere architecture and operating with similar memory bandwidth. This chip has 2048 CUDA cores, more than the 1536 in the T239. So I ran it at just 750 megahertz. On balance, this should be ballpark with a similar GPU running at higher clocks. As described here, a broadly Steam Deck-like experience ensues, but limited ray tracing is on the table. While DLSS is good for 1080p and in some scenarios 1440p upscaling. All of this testing remains firmly theoretical simulation territory, and it's notable that we didn't see much of this potential in the Mario Kart footage. It's almost as if for now, at least Nintendo doesn't want to show its hand in terms of what the machine is capable of. In other words, Digital Foundry is saying the machine is a lot more capable than the short footage that we saw. All right. By showing just a few seconds of a new Mario Kart title, it seems that the platform holder has other ideas, perhaps to remind the 64 million people who bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe what a good time they had playing it, and that a sequel is on the way. I don't think Nintendo's focus was to showcase, or they just wanted to show the hardware. Get ahead of all these leaks. Shout out to everyone. We crushed 100 likes. Good stuff. So with the teaser reveal out the way, what happens next? All eyes are on the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct coming on April 4th. It's a long wait for sure, just as it was between the original Switch reveal in October and the events that took place in January. In the meantime, it looks as though it's weapons free for developers and publishers to talk about the Switch 2 games they're working on, but probably not to show any footage. We know we're going to get good third-party support. I can't wait to see these third-party games, bro. All right. If I was to predict what we'll see beyond whatever surprises Nintendo may be cooking up from its first-party studios, I'd expect a lot of PS4 ports and PS4, PS5 cross-gen games to appear. Final Fantasy VII, Elden Ring. There are rumors that the likes of Microsoft Flight Simulator may be coming, which would certainly be a challenge for this hardware. But the 2020 version ran well enough on Steam Deck, and if we can disregard CPU concerns for now, typically I'd expect anything that runs on deck to run on the Switch 2, and lower resolution aside, I managed to run Flight Simulator at close to Series S settings on the Valve handheld. Perhaps expectations need to be kept in check, but based on the remarkably good Switch ports we saw across its life cycle, I'm confident we'll continue to be surprised by Nintendo's hybrid console as we shift concepts to a new generation. Next week, that Xbox Developer Direct, we watching it, boy, to see what's going to be on the Switch 2. Ace Combat 7 proves anything can be ported if you... Bro, Ace Combat 7 on the Switch right now looks amazing. That's one of the games in my backlog, Anthony. I want to beat Ace Combat 7 on the Switch. That game looks good running on the Switch. All right. So, those are all the news items we had for this stream. Appreciate everyone coming through. I am going to be gaming with the sponsor sometime today. Don't know what time yet, but we're going to be gaming, my dudes. What do you guys think about everything we talked about? Sound off in the comment section below. Wait. One with the $5 super chat. I'm going to read some of the comments too before we head out. We're not going to head out right now. I have a dumb theory. The handheld Switch 2 is downscaling the actual game, causing a heavier workload than the dock mode upscaling games 1.5 or more. One. Thanks, bro. Somebody type 1 in the chat. Thanks, bro. I don't know. We don't know what's going on. And I'm not really a tech guy. But I'm sure Nintendo is going to reveal everything in due time. And when the Digital Foundry, etc., they actually get their hands on the system, it's gonna make more sense. One. Kiki type 1. God bless you. You're a Sea Dog 1111. Yeah, we're gonna head out. One. Appreciate the $5 super chat though. And I appreciate everybody coming through. All right, y'all. We're gonna be headed out. What do you guys think about everything? Sound off in the comment section below. I want to know. But before you go, bro, click that subscribe button. Stay up to date. All things Nintendo. We out. Peace. Outro. Wrong one.
Oh, we have most ever! Reggie Fils-Aimé!
Obi-Wan plays.
Yes, right. What's up? All right.
Obi-Wan plays.